Hello, it's Ashley with At Home with Ashley. Easter is about in a month, and so I decided it would be fun to make some affordable decorations. I'm going to layer them with my other decorations. I love Easter. I was born on Easter Sunday. My whole house is pastels. So Easter is my holiday, spring is my season, and I thought we could craft together today. The first thing we're doing is an Easter basket. Love Shack Fancy inspired. I saw this basket on Pottery Barn Kids, and it's like $103 for the basket, the liner, and the bow. And I was like, who can spend $100 on a basket? Not me. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. So I immediately thought, let's go to the thrift store. And I went, and I'm really happy because I found what I wanted in one stop. Always a ton of baskets at my thrift store. And I found this like rectangle one with pink on it, super cute. And then in the pillowcase section, I found two options that looked like Love Shack Fancy fabric. So I grabbed both because they were each $1. And whichever one I don't use, I'll use for something else. And the basket was $3. So what I did was I made a big bow. And what I did was I cut a strip of the pillowcase. It was 60 inches by 9 inches. And where my pillowcase was folded over, I had to cut that edge off because there was a lot of wear on it. But out of that extra bit, I cut a 3 by 5 inch piece, and that's going to be the middle of the bow. So you fold your bow in half, right sides together, and then we are going to fold the corners over and make like a 45-degree angle and just press it with your finger. And when it lays flat, you can see where you need to cut to get the angles cut off, and do that for both sides. And then we are going to sew up all the edges except for like 3 inches in the middle. And you really want that to be open because we're going to stuff some stuff in it. So make sure to iron your bow nice and flat, and you're also going to iron the middle part of the bow into thirds. So for the middle, we are doing interfacing, and so I just cut it about an inch shorter on all sides and cut two pieces. It was like 28 inches for one side and 28 inches for the other side, and again, I cut off the angled side. And then I shoved those in. That went really good. And then I was like, maybe I should add some wired ribbon inside so I can kind of shape it. So I also put some of that in. It was kind of a pain to get in, but that makes it so you can move it around, which is very exciting. Next, we need to make the shape of the bow. So you kind of fold it so it looks like a breast cancer awareness ribbon. And the top is going to be your two bows and the bottom is going to be your two tails. And then you kind of need to accordion fold it in the middle and pinch it together. And then I just use some floral wire and pinch it shut. And then I take some hot glue and I put on the fabric. So you're going to use hot glue to glue the middle part onto the front of the bow, which is going to cover all of the wire. And then I shoved another piece of wire on just so that I could wire it onto the basket. And that means you can take it off if you want to use it for something else or if you don't want it on the basket all the time. Anyway, it turned out so cute. I am obsessed. It was $4 cost. And I think it's just really adorable. And I can't wait to use it on Easter. I'm also starting to use it to just like collect my eggs for my backyard chickens. And I think it looks very close to the inspiration. And I saved like $99. It's day 2 on my quest to make affordable Easter DIY decor. And I went to the dollar store and I was like, I am going to take these plastic eggs that probably everybody has on hand and I'm going to make them cute. So I've been really wanting to get into papier-mâché, which kind of sounds weird, but I like how artistic it looks and that you can make literally trash into something sculptural. So I took the eggs and I made the paste, which is 1 part flour, 2 parts water, and I just did a cup of flour and 2 cups of water, which was plenty for 12 eggs. And then I cut up some newspaper, and somebody gave me the hot tip that I should have torn it because then it makes the edges like blend better. So next time I will tear the edges of the papier-mâché, even though it takes longer. But I just dipped the newspaper in and covered the plastic ball because I just like the sheen of plastic is not so great and it opens up, it just looks cheap. So we're trying to make it look expensive and artsy. So we're covering it with papier-mâché and then letting that dry overnight. Okay, so after the papier-mâché dried overnight, I looked and they were still really lumpy. So what I did was I mixed some acrylic craft paint with some baking powder and I mixed it until it was like kind of a thicker paint. And what that did was it covered everything up and it made it so that the ridges weren't quite as strong. And then later, once it dried, I could sand everything to kind of make it a little bit smoother. I knew I could never get it perfectly smooth. I wanted it to look a little bit lumpy, but it was too bumpy. So I sanded it smooth and then I painted each one a different color of the rainbow with my latex paint that I always have on hand because I paint everything rainbow. So that went on really smoothly and the colors look so good. Once all the paint was dried on the eggs, the very last thing I had to do was paint a pattern, and this was the most fun part. I just took plain white latex paint and drew hearts and squiggles and lines and bows on everything, and it looked so cute. After that, I just hot glued the eggs onto a string of yarn to make a garland, and it looked really cute. I also got another garland from the dollar store. This one was smaller, and I painted all of those eggs different rainbow colors too. I didn't add any pattern on this one, but I felt like the two egg garlands together are really adorable. Probably my paper mache one took too long and was too much effort, but it was a fun challenge to see if I could make those like plastic ones look really cute, and I think it turned out nicely. For the top of my mantle, I really wanted to make a floral moment, so I went to the craft store and I spent $100 in flowers, and then I had immediate regret and I returned them. I returned all but like I think $20 worth, which was 4 stems. Fake flowers are expensive. So I went to the thrift store and I was like, maybe I can find something here. And I hit the jackpot. And I think if you see this, you're going to be like, is this the jackpot? Because it was just 2 pieces of floral foam with some flowers stuck in the top. And I was like, this could be the base of my whole thing. So I got that and another little basket of flowers. And I started with the base. And then I just started shoving in flowers that I'd gotten from the thrift store, from the craft store, and layered it in. And at the end of the day, I think I spent like $30 in flowers to get this big look, and I am so obsessed. I think it turned out really good. And like I said, it could have been $100 worth of flowers, but because I used thrift store stuff, it made it much cheaper. The last thing I decided to add to my mantle was a banner, and I was going for a fairy tale look. And so I cut a piece of fabric that was 9 inches wide by 48 inches long, and I repeated the steps that we did for the bow on the basket, which is you fold it in half, right sides together, sew it along the edges except for in the middle, turn it right side out, iron, and then stuff it with interfacing and ribbon. And then I cut some vinyl on my Cricut and I weeded it and ironed it on, and it says Happy Easter. And then I just used some clips to clip it to the hooks I have for my like Christmas stockings, and that turned out really good. And now I can show you the whole thing. So I'm very excited with how the mantle turned out. I think it's wildly cute. I added up all my costs. I spent $35 on this whole thing because it was about $30 in flowers and then $4.50 in egg garland, and everything else I already had on hand, those vintage bunnies that are so cute. And I think the most thrifty thing was the banner, because I just used items I had at my house to make something, so my craft closet's a little more empty, and it's so cute. Doesn't it look like a fairy tale? I think it's kind of like bunting, but just like a different look, and I haven't really seen anybody do this, so I'm really pumped about it. And then just like the layered eggs with the bow garland, and I made that for Valentine's Day, and it's just like hair clips that I hot glued together on the ends. And then I made the big bow also for Valentine's Day, the pink one up top, but I just think like it belongs in my house at all times now. So anyway, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this affordable Easter decorating video. Please let me know your favorite item, what you would add to your house. Let me know if you have any questions. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please subscribe.